One day, we opened his room and saw Stephen had hung himself.
Thank you for tuning in this evening. Let's jump right in.
Hi there. Do you know what the hardest thing about being a Christian is? It's being judged right away when you don't live up to people's expectations. People think that just because we are Christians, we should be perfect and blameless. Now, don't get me wrong. We really do our best to follow in the footsteps of Christ and try to live good and holy lives. But we are also humans. Many times we fail and make mistakes. Sadly, when we do, society is quick to judge, and we are called hypocrites. My name is Trina, and what I am about to share with you is a very sensitive issue, because it almost cost my brother his life. Before we continue with my story, I challenge you to like this video and hit subscribe. Make sure you turn the notification bell on to keep updated with more fascinating stories like this. My younger brother Stephen and I are the children of a pastor. As we grew up, we were raised practicing the Christian faith. We went to Sunday school, said a prayer in the morning, at night, and in betweens, especially before meals. Treated everybody like brothers and sisters in Christ, and did a lot of charity works with our parents. Between me and Stephen, I was the rebellious child, and I gave my parents a lot of headaches growing up. I used to sneak out to parties with my friends, wore clothes that were a bit revealing, and deliberately disobeyed my parents about not having a boyfriend before finishing college. I mean, come on. You might find this hard to believe, but our congregation used to believe that I was demonically oppressed. So every Sunday, they'd lay their hands over my forehead and prayed for me endlessly. It wasn't that I didn't love God. I just wanted to experience all the things the other kids got to do. Now, my brother Stephen was my exact opposite. He was like an angel sent to earth. He was very gentle, kind, and obedient. He was also really smart. The lowest grade he got in school was an A-. He was also really good in dealing with people. By the time he was in middle school, he was already leading the youth ministry in our church. Everybody in church adored him. And maybe that was why we couldn't believe he was capable of doing something that seemed just so out of his character. Our own parents and everybody in church expected Stephen to follow in our father's footsteps. His path was all laid out for him. He was going to be the church's spiritual leader when Dad retires, of course. Stephen never expressed any opposition to it, so I thought he was okay with it. In college, he was sent to study theology. That was when Stephen started to change. He became irritable and he stopped going to church. Suddenly, he dropped out of school and was gone every night. This sudden change in Stephen's behavior alarmed our family. We reached out to him, but he shut us out of his life. We finally figured out that Stephen was on drugs. We didn't know how or when he started it, but we sent him to rehab right away. After a year, Stephen recovered and went back to actively serving the Lord. Things were pretty good for a while there until one day, dirty photos of him were posted on social media. It was even captioned, "Christian brother sleeps with 4 random men in 1 week?" This photo was taken during the time when he was on drugs and wasn't even himself. Many of those who knew him, though, were shocked after seeing these pictures. Random people left mean comments. Many of them called him a hypocrite. Some called him a pretentious maniac and told him to rot in hell. Rumors spread in the church and around our local community. He was relentlessly bashed. After reading all of those hateful comments, and in his utter embarrassment and guilt, it got so bad that Stephen locked himself up in his room and never spoke to anyone. Then, one day, we opened his room and saw Stephen had hung himself. Thankfully, he was immediately rescued and his life was spared. After that, our family did our best to show Stephen that he was deeply loved and made him understand that his past doesn't define him. Even the apostles of Jesus did something horrible at one point in their lives, and there is no mistake that God cannot forgive. It took my brother a long while to heal from that incident, but with prayer, family support, and by the grace of God, he was able to make it through. I'm just glad we didn't lose my brother that day. We all make mistakes, whether you're a Christian, a Muslim, Hindu, or an atheist. I'm sharing this story to show people how toxic bashing can do a world of hurt. So, the next time you type or say something negative, try to think about the consequences it may have on the person you are bashing. Have you ever been bashed or unfairly judged before? Share your story with us in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this story, share this video with your friends and let's get it to 1,000 likes. Don't forget to watch our other Nutty stories too.